Welcome in, everyone. Here we are on this Halloween night, taking this quick introductory view from our SkyTrack Network camera in Jeffersonville. Clear skies, a chilly night for those of you who maybe still have some trick-or-treating energy left, and maybe you're going to step out, or maybe you're watching and joining us out and about, having some fun with the family and the kids. Just remember, when it's 52 degrees out, have maybe those gloves handy could make the difference to enjoy the rest of the night. But needless to say, have fun. We'd love to get those pictures that you want to share with us. You can do that through the Halloween Gallery on wave3.com. We are live streaming here in the Wave Now studio on this Halloween. Jose Sosaya, always appreciative of you joining us, whether that's through the Wave Now app on your smart TV app devices, connecting with us with Wave News, or on our live stream on our social media channel. This is going to be sort of a condensed stream tonight. We understand it's a busy holiday, and going through some of the news. Part of that is also for us kind of keeping busy with different newscasts and reports and investigations. So on my end, just a little bit of a condensed live stream, but still getting you some of those important stories, namely the big update in national news coming in from today was federal judge's ruling about the White House saying that the government has to continue funding the SNAP program. And even with this court's very new ruling, SNAP recipients still expected to see their benefits maybe delayed or possibly reduced. And so in the meantime, we've been reporting on local nonprofits, organizations trying to fill those gaps. Wave News reporter David Mattingly has an update with us that he talked to leaders at Metro United Way, sharing a new development, a project they have for SNAP funding. And even though with this new update from the court, that doesn't mean to them that the crisis would be over.
We know that in this moment, as families go to bed tonight, wondering how they will eat tomorrow, we each need to do our part to let them know there is hope and relief in sight.
Not waiting for the courts or Congress to act, Metro United Way launches a $500,000 Hardship to Hope Food Relief Fund for SNAP households with at least one child or elderly resident. The idea is to give families who won't be getting their SNAP benefits on time or in full a chance to hang on. And it comes with a sobering admission of limitations.
Of the 60,000 households that are at risk of having their benefits compromised, we know that is a very finite number. What we can do to put a dent in that, honestly, it's hard for me to say what that's going to be at this moment in time.
Metro United Way CEO Adria Johnson says adding zeros to the initial $500,000 is needed. Donations are critical as the potential for a larger impact continues to emerge. According to the Kentucky Center for Economic Policy, 12.9% of state residents received SNAP benefits in February, spending $102.6 million at local markets.
And all of those funds that are going to disappear, all of those customers that won't be able to shop, that means less hours for our union members, which means less money in their paychecks too.
That was David Mattingly with that report. For SNAP recipients in Jefferson County, for example, they can apply to United Way's Hardship to Hope Assistance Program starting Monday morning. Plans are to expand this program to 6 other counties the following Friday, which would be next Friday in that regard. In the same vein, commenting on the support for food assistance, JCPS's superintendent, Dr. Brian Yearwood, says he is concerned for students in his district and other families who are worried about their next meal.
I was going to say, who the hell lets children go hungry? All right? Who does that?
The district says it will continue to provide free meals to students, and all students in JCPS are eligible for free breakfast and lunch through community eligibility. Earlier today, we also talked to a district nutrition expert who tells us the whole purpose of having this ready is to make sure hunger does not become a barrier for a child when it comes to learning.
I was going to quit Halloween, but got the...
Sometimes when a child doesn't get breakfast or lunch, you see more visits to the school nurse, headaches, stomach aches, inability to focus. So we want to encourage parents to make sure that your kids have the opportunity to eat breakfast with us, because we want those kids well nourished and we want them ready to learn.
And the district says the school nutrition programs are funded through the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and they are reimbursed based on the meals that they are ultimately served. In the same vein, Kentucky WIC will continue to operate as normal until further notice. It's the Women, Infants, and Children Nutrition Program, and clinics provide free healthy foods, breastfeeding support, nutrition, education, and referrals to services to support families. Metro Public Health tells us that WIC clinics are open, ready to serve. You can still use WIC cards should you have them to purchase eligible foods, and WIC-approved stores will still process those purchases. So as people look for all the different options that they have at their disposal, some are getting creative with how they're trying to be the ones to feed others. Wave News reporter Alina Noakes breaks down how a community of butcher shops in Kentucky is helping people put food on their table.
In butcher shops across Kentucky, you can see signs just like this one advertising Hunters for the Hungry. It's a program all about putting food on the table for families in need. And it all starts in a butcher shop just like this one with people who are giving back. What ends up in the freezer all starts around this table.
If we do Hunters for the Hungry, we'll try to just do a day where we just spend our time grinding.
In their Hardin County butchery, the Bowen family is using their skills to help others. They'll spend a few hours processing this one deer.
Anything that we wouldn't want to eat, we don't put in there.
Trimming away the fat.
And then we dump them in here to be ground.
Until they end up with this. This is their everyday process, but around this time of year, it takes on a different meaning.
I put the Hunters for the Hungry in the 2-pound rolls, and so all these are ready to go.
The Bowens are part of the Hunters for the Hungry program, allowing hunters to donate deer meat to the nonprofit that distributes it directly to local food banks. Each one of these 2-pound packs goes to feed a family they'll never meet.
You just hear people, hurting because things are so expensive, and so it's definitely I really enjoy that I can help them, that we can.
This comes amid rising food prices and an uncertain future for federal food programs as the government shutdown continues. Amanda Bowen says she's seen the need continue to grow.
Oh, it is a need. People are worried where they're going to get their protein, where they're going to get their food. So I think the numbers, like I said, are still, I know my numbers are up.
The meat collected each year provides an average of more than 500,000 meals for Kentuckians. Just last year, Bowen processed 40,000 pounds toward that number.
It's a lot of meat, a lot of meat, a lot of meat. So it's awesome to know that that's going to a good cause.
But that number could be even higher. That's why butchers like Bowen continue to push hunters to help out. For more information about the program and participating butcher shops across Kentucky, you can visit this story on our website at wave3.com. In Hardin County, Alina Noakes, Wave News.
And of course, the team will continue to follow what the community outpour is as far as filling in those gaps for food assistance for families who do need it across Kentucky and our folks in Southern Indiana. Something we'll certainly always be updating on our website, wave3.com. So make sure to know that is a tool where you can always check in on our reporting and updates on locations, contact information for anybody, you or someone in your life who might need this assistance when they do need it. All right, folks, we're going to go through a round of some other stories that are updates to some breaking news and investigations we've been following. And we're going to do that rounding out tonight with much more of a Halloween feeling, let's say. And we're going to take this quick break as part of this condensed live stream of Wave News Extra. We'll be right back. Almost 8:16 on this Halloween Friday night. Appreciate you folks joining us here on this live stream for Wave News Extra. Much more news to break down for you. Part of that is a bit of an update tied to a criminal investigation. In fact, from last Halloween, it was a homicide. And we've since learned 3 new suspects have been arrested, bringing a total number of arrests to 5 people, all tied to this shooting death of a Hillview man back in 2024. Yeah, it was last Halloween. Police responded to the intersection of Norwood Way and Hillview Boulevard. This was actually very early that morning, and around 2 to discover 18-year-old Cole Bullock was shot and killed. The first mugshot you're seeing there is of Jose Ortiz, who was arrested about a month later. He was a juvenile at the time, but is now 18. Since then, a 15-year-old and 18-year-old Jason Lannon have been indicted in the case. You're looking on the right of a mugshot of Lannon in this case. Now, 2 other people who have not yet been named have also been tied to this case, but police say their investigation is still open. And according to some new court documents, most of the suspects told police they didn't even know who the victim was. Now, this month, we spoke to the victim's brother, who we found out is the actual host of the Scareview Haunt, if you're familiar with this Halloween-themed scare haunted house event. Now, this is in his brother's honor, Cam Bullock, and he told us on Wave News that for him, it's about trying to keep Halloween from being simply a somber memory in his life.
I was going to quit Halloween, but got the opportunity to do this, and my love and passion came all back.
Now, it happens that tonight's the final night for Scareview Haunt to be open this season, and Bullock says the funds that he raises support good causes like Cruisin' for Cancer, Dare to Care Food Bank, and even Operation Santa. Moving on to more updates today, a new development surrounding the arrest of a Norton Commons man with a large social media following. He's accused of having and distributing child pornography, and 39-year-old Michael Booth's case has now been waived to a grand jury. Booth was arrested October 22nd. Now, police and prosecutors accuse him of using the social media app Kik to share inappropriate images this past August. Court documents state that a search warrant uncovered files that depict minors under the age of 12, and that these files were shared at least 12 times, and that 3 files of children over the age of 12 were shared at least 15 times. Booth has had a large following on social media. You saw the banner there under the alias Mr. Crafty Pants online. His YouTube channel that had thousands of followers has since been taken down. Today in court, we were there. Booth's attorney agreed to waive this case to the grand jury. Booth's bond remains at $100,000 on top of that update. And checking in with some more information. Oh, sometimes you have to click things to find where you need to be in the information I've got up here. The grand jury is going to take up Booth's case the first week of December. More stories for you tonight. A package arrived at a Kentucky woman's home, and inside it had body parts instead of the medical supplies that she was expecting. The coroner's office got a call from Christian County at around 8 on Wednesday night. The coroner picked up these parts, and they confirmed that they were being used for, quote, medical training and were accidentally delivered to the home instead of this woman's medications.
I don't even have words. I open boxes every day, and I would just die. I would scream and run away.
Now, this was not through a typical mail service either. This was not through USPS or FedEx. It was actually from a private courier. And once again, the parts that were delivered were supposed to go to a medical training facility. They would be returned to the carrier for proper delivery to their intended destination. This is a report from Wave News. Wave News' Fernando Garcia Francescini, and he learned more about LMPD's work to shut down illegal massage parlors working right now in the metro. And so Fernando has details on some local cases, some body camera video involved, the officers involved, and the department now joining a new task force that's dedicated to tracking these offenders. And this is Fernando's report.
For Officer Dan Marsden, the work to end human exploitation is personal.
I was born and raised in Germany. I came to this country on my own and was left at the airport in Portland, Oregon when I first arrived. And so I was kind of a houseless, homeless teenager from day one. And, when you don't have anybody in your corner, people will take advantage of you.
It's why Marsden spent the past 4 years working to shut down illegal massage parlors in Jefferson County.
You have massage tables in there, you have massage beds, and you have customers here that are saying they're here for a massage. So you're in violation of the law for that.
Officer Marsden says his current goal is to create a system where customers at these parlors have to write down their names and show their IDs.
It's actually state law in Florida, and it's been very, very helpful for them down there in the fight against these illicit massage businesses.
That system would also require the working therapists to put their names and the service the customer received. LMPD says many of these workers are victims of exploitation.
You're the victim in this. I want to help you. I know it's difficult, but at least this gives you some contact with the system. So if you want help, call for help, okay?
Okay.
Basically, if you, close one of these here in Louisville, however you do it, you're preventing, 20 plus women from being exploited at that location, if you look at it that way.
Marsden says this is a $5 billion industry nationwide, and he believes this new task force could prevent it from spreading even more here in Louisville.
Our thanks to Fernando for that report. Now, we at Wave News went to one of the businesses LMPD says it shut down. It was called Empire Stress Relaxation. When our crew showed up, though, the open sign was still there. It was on. We knocked on the door, and a woman who answered the door told us at Wave News that the place was still open. So we then reached back out to LMPD for some clarification, and they say that the landlord told them that there is a contractor inside doing some rehab work, and that is why this business, Empire Stress Relaxation, is still open for all intents and purposes. All right, folks, going to take a brief commercial break for this setup of some sports-related news before we get into some of the Halloween fun here inside the Wave Now studio. So we're going to take that brief break and be right back. Hey there, everyone. Almost 8:25 inside the Wave Now studio for tonight's edition of Extra. Appreciate you joining us on Halloween. We're going to get to the part of having a little fun with the excitement, the trick-or-treating, and the costumes for the holiday. Before we get to that, breaking down some big stakes for some local sports teams, Racing Louisville in this case. They're on the cusp of making the playoffs for the very first time in their franchise's history. So Wave News' Tawana Andrews sat down with one key veteran member of the team as they're preparing for Sunday's key match.
Don't count us out. cheer us on, like be there in the stands for this last game, like make history with us. Because yes, us players on the field, we're going to be making the history, but you are too.
Racing Louisville captain Erin Wright is ready for the team's last regular season game, and she wants fans to be too.
And I think we have just slowly accumulated more and more fans, more and more people that believe in us, especially this season, the identity we've created.
It's that identity that the defender believes is key to the team's success this season.
It can't be an individual. We can't get into this like, oh no, I have to be the hero or I have to do this. Like, we are successful together.
While the team is pushing to make history this weekend together, Wright says each player may approach the match differently.
And I think there's some people that don't want to make it too grand, right? And just want to make it like this one game. Let's just focus on the game, do the basics. And honestly, that's like a great way to do it. And some people like to arrive to the occasion. They like that pressure. They like thrive under that pressure. And I feel like I'm one of those people. Like, I know the other scenario, but I also know that I thrive under that pressure.
With or without the pressure, the goal remains the same: winning a National Women's Soccer League championship.
You're going to be in the stands. You're going to be living that moment with us. So do it for one more game, because after that, you get to do it one more time too. And we just keep going until we make it to the ship.
Tawana Andrew, Wave News.
Certainly wishing Racing a lot of luck. They're taking on Bay FC Sunday at 5 o'clock at Lynn Family Stadium. Very busy soccer weekend on top of that, with the Saturday match for Lou City FC. Now, the first 1,000 fans to come to Racing's game are going to get a free flag once gates open at around 3:30 p.m. By the way, you can watch Tawana's full interview with Erin. That is up on wave3.com. Let's go from soccer to a little horse racing, the 2025 Breeders' Cup World Championships in California. For fans, they know it's a major race for the new generation of thoroughbreds. The winner of today's Breeders' Cup Juvenile will be labeled as the 2026 Kentucky Derby favorite. But that's not the only exciting race that fans get to go see and track. Tomorrow is the Breeders' Cup Classic. This year's race features some veterans going head-to-head, including this year's Preakness winner, journalism, and last year's Breeders' Cup winner, Sierra Leone. For anyone hoping to have caught a glimpse of this year's Kentucky Derby winner, Sovereignty, and Sovereignty was originally slated to race, unfortunately, trainer Bill Mott scratched the horse because they were having a bit of a fever. And you can always catch up on coverage of the Breeders' Cup. It's going to be here on Wave and NBC, not just tonight, but also looking forward to that tomorrow. One more brief break here in the Wave Now studio to have a little bit of a Halloween breakdown and kind of call it a wrap on this condensed edition of tonight's live stream. So we're going to take, again, a quick little pause. Promise. Be right back. Well, hi there, everyone. Fancy seeing you here. No, I'm kidding, of course. Thanks for sticking with us here for tonight's condensed Halloween edition of Wave News Extra. Figured I'd break this out, channel my inner Mr. Rogers, if you will. And for anyone in the know about some videos maybe being shared online by one Kentucky leader, this was an idea before, for me at least, that video was put out. But Mr. Rogers, super cool, very easy to grab a red cardigan and feel like you get to be a little bit like him on this Halloween night. Surely for lots of you folks, much more intense, high commitment costumes. Would love to see those shared with us throughout the night. Before I would forget, I'd be remiss to not shout out Kooky Toxic here on the X commentary on the live stream. So happy Halloween to Cookie Toxic as well. So if you are dressing up for Halloween, did you know that the costume you pick could reveal a little bit about your personality? Doctors, psychologists say it could show a part of yourself that you want to express that maybe you feel like you cannot do so every day. Now, the term that doctors describe this as is what's called enclothed cognition. And that is the thought that what we wear impacts how we feel. And part of that is in sharing and seeking out some of those costumes that we otherwise would not be exposed to on a day-to-day basis.
If you are wearing a mask or heavy makeup, it may make you feel more anonymous. This lowers our self-consciousness and lowers our inhibition. So you may act in ways that you don't normally act day to day. And it's a low risk situation to explore different parts of your personality.
Now, doctors say if you prefer to do group costumes with family and friends, for example, that may show you value connection as well as social bonding. So with it being Halloween, very quick, just reminders, maybe you're going to do some late night trick-or-treating out there, some parents who have high energy kids and still want to go burn some of that off. For costumes, as far as kids are concerned, safety experts always recommend if you can put some makeup on them instead of masks or reflective tape, and trick-or-treat bags. That way they can be seen. Some light colored clothing also always helps. Trick-or-treaters try to stay on sidewalks, not on the street. If there are no sidewalks, try to be as much as possible on the edge of the roadway facing traffic. Parents, you certainly have thought about these things and thought them through. If you want to pair a flashlight with your kids, trick-or-treat bucket, another great idea there as well, so they can be seen and seen where they're going. And for parents who do have much younger kids, you'll stick around with them throughout the entire course of their experience, of their journey. And if older kids are going to go alone, just to plan their route and set a time for them to actually come back home. All right, setting up this last story to share with you. And while you were buying any Halloween candy you wanted to give out, I know some of you might have set a little treasure trove aside, but for what you've got out there to hand out to the trick-or-treaters, the price could have been part of that big scare you weren't expecting with the market. Retail experts say prices are up 10% if you compare them to last year. Reporter Carly Hoxton and photojournalist Darnell Crenshaw are explaining a bit of the price hike and how this is impacting businesses across Kentucky.
Scary season is here, and there is an increase in candy and chocolate prices.
Actually, in the last year and a half, chocolate has doubled for us.
Drought and disease have impacted in the Ivory Coast region of West Africa, where 90% of the world's cacao plants are produced. And from that, chocolate is made.
And some of the ingredients now are going up.
Larry Kiesel is the owner of Ruth Hunt Candy Company in Mount Sterling. He took us behind the scenes to show us how it's all made. He buys about 50,000 pounds of sugar and chocolate a year to satisfy that sweet tooth. Kiesel says Halloween fans will price shop this year.
I think they'll be more careful in what they buy, and they'll look for bargains.
Customers may make some adjustments.
Consumers may be changing, going away from chocolate to other types of candy.
Steve McLean with the Kentucky Retail Federation says companies will change as well.
Reese's came out with a white ghost candy that was, peanut butter dipped in, say, white cream instead of chocolate.
Kiesel is nuts over chocolate. A few years ago, he left Mount Sterling to travel thousands of miles to visit a cacao farm in Ghana, West Africa.
They cover them with banana leaves and let them ferment.
But the talk of candy costs doesn't scare shoppers.
We live in a country, predominantly we have people that are generous. And so they're going to pay the money to get the candy so they can get, because they want to see those smiles on those kids' faces. That's priceless, really.
In Mount Sterling with photojournalist Darnell Crenshaw, Carly Hogston, WKYT.
One more thing before we go tonight, folks. By all means, please send us and share your spooky, creative, cool costumes with us at Wave News. So we're going to, so we can share them not just here on social media, but on the live newscast coming up at 11 on our website. It's a gallery, and whether it's the adults, the kids, your pets, make sure to send whatever you want to, celebrate and say, hey, I love my costume. You can do this, by the way, by several ways. You can download the free Wave News app. In this case, you can scroll down to the Submit Your Photos option, follow the prompts to upload your photos. Make sure to watch out if we do share your creative creations, your kooky creations. They could be scary too, on air and online. There are several other ways you can do that if you connect with wave3.com on the general website, as I'll try to get us back to the homepage in that regard. Here we are. So yes, there's prompts here on the homepage to follow, to upload all the awesome Halloween fun, and it could be a group costume, an individual costume. Would love to see everybody having a safe, fun night out there for sure. It is 8:37. I think we're going to call it a night. So as we say, of course, be safe out there. Send all your great pictures of the trick-or-treating fun out across Wave Country. I'm Jose Sosaya here in the Wave Now studio. Until then, we'll see you guys on Wave News at 11 with our reporting team, meteorologist Ryan Hoke, about looking forward to a Saturday with lots of fun things to do, just being mindful of the rain when that's going to pop up. Looking forward to next week with some warmer days ahead as well. Lots to discuss. And we'll be back here inside the Wave Now studio for tonight's live stream and much more live streams at 8:05 next Monday. Until then, take care. Have fun. Happy Halloween.